Thousands show up this morning to strut their stuff for the annual Turkey Trot in Tallahassee. Plus, the community comes together to celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday while making sure those in need have food and company. And more delays on the way for the Affordable Care Act as the Obama administration pushes to fix all problems with healthcare.gov. Your news at 5 starts right now.
Live from the WTXL studios, this is ABC 27's News at 5.
Happy Thanksgiving and good evening. I'm Abby Maurer. Thanks for watching WTXL ABC 27 News at 5. Rockman has the night off. On the fourth Thursday in November, millions share what they are thankful for with loved ones over a delicious feast. But how did this day come about? Today, Americans celebrate this national holiday honoring the early settlers in their first harvest feast. The first recorded Thanksgiving celebration happened in 1623 with the Puritans. Colonists thank God for rain after a 2-month drought. To Puritans, a true Thanksgiving was a day of prayer, thanking God for his special care. President Lincoln declared Thanksgiving an official holiday in 1863. And we all know it wouldn't be Thanksgiving if there wasn't any turkey, but how did the universal bird get its name in the first place? Well, Spanish conquistadors first brought the birds to Europe in 1519, but they didn't go directly to England. They came via merchant ships from the eastern Mediterranean Sea. Those merchants were called turkey merchants since most of the area was part of the Turkish Empire. People who purchased the birds back home in England thought the fowl came from the area and called them turkey birds, then eventually turkeys. Out of that confusion, the name just stuck. Within a decade, the turkey was domesticated, and to this day, we're simply still holding on to the mistake of a few confused English-speaking Europeans. And today in Tallahassee, thousands celebrated Thanksgiving this morning by trotting out in 38-degree weather, participating in the annual Turkey Trot. The 5K, 10K, and 15K races started out in Southwood. The event is organized each year by the Gulf Winds Track Club. Experts say some of us will eat as much as about 4,500 calories during the Thanksgiving Day festivities, but you can bet these runners burned off at least a few of those calories.
It was cold. It was cold. I've been trying to get back in shape, and I started running just about a month ago. And I wanted to sign up for the 5K. My wife signed me up for the 10K, so I think but I finished it, so it feels good.
Last year alone, nearly 6,000 walkers and runners turned out, raising $43,000 for area charities. While spreading Thanksgiving cheer, organizations are coming together today to help those in need. It's the 29th annual Tallahassee Community Thanksgiving Celebration. WTXL ABC 27's Jade Balexa takes us there.
And I am delighted to be here to the celebration of Thanksgiving here in Tallahassee. This is my first time visiting Tallahassee, and I'm living at the shelter.
Margie Cleaver is 76 years old and is homeless. She's one of hundreds getting a hot meal at the American Legion Post 13.
And lots of friends to talk to, and I mean everybody is real friendly and look like they're enjoying themselves and having a good time.
It's the 29th annual Tallahassee Thanksgiving celebration, spearheaded by the Gasvini family. Local businesses and nonprofit organizations also doing their part to make it possible. It's an event that keeps volunteers coming back year after year to help others.
It's just rewarding. I love it. I would not be any other place than where I am right now. This is where I want to be.
Besides food, people listened to live music and also reconnected with loved ones.
And even people here today had the opportunity to make free phone calls to their family, their friends, to wish them a happy Thanksgiving and tell them they love them.
To-go meals were prepared and dropped off to several families in Gadsden County and also to organizations including the Big Bend Hospice. Jade Balexa, WTXL ABC 27, dedicated to you.
What's better than being with food and being with the food and the family and the friends as well. But it was chilly this morning, Erin.
Oh my goodness, it was very chilly today, and you know what, tonight just as chilly. We're still under a freeze warning. So the cold weather is here, at least for the short short-term period, excuse me, so bundle up if you're going to be outside tonight. Good news is, though, we stayed dry today and saw nothing but sunshine. The radar is clear. We're seeing a few specks of green, but that is not rain. It's probably just picking up on dust, or sometimes the radar can even pick up on birds or something. But we are dry, not expecting any rain for tonight or for tomorrow. We are under that freeze warning tonight for the entire viewing area except for areas along the immediate coastline, but we will be gradually warming up throughout the weekend, and that chance for rain does come back by Monday. Here's our current temperatures right now. Some areas didn't even make it out of the 40s today, especially areas closer towards the west. We're at 51 in Tallahassee, 50 in Perry, 49 in Apalachicola, but once that sun sets tonight, those temperatures are going to plummet. We'll be at 43 around 7 p.m. with clear skies, already in the 30s by 10 p.m. and 36 by midnight. But after that, some areas might even reach into the upper 20s. I'll tell you just how cool we are going to get tonight in just a little bit. Abby?
Thanks, Erin. Tonight, as temperatures continue to drop in Florida's capital city, the shelter will once again open up additional space for more people seeking shelter from the cold. Any adult male in need of temporary shelter should report to 480 West Tennessee Street by 6:45 p.m. tonight. Buses will provide transportation to the additional space at the First Baptist Church. And for information on how you can volunteer or donate to the shelter, just visit our website, WTXL.tv. And on this Thanksgiving, tragedy strikes in Suwannee County. 2 people are dead and 2 others are seriously injured after a car chase ends in a crash. The Suwannee County Sheriff's Office says they were called to the McDonald's at US 129 and Interstate 10 for a disturbance. When they arrived, the suspect's car took off, hitting a vehicle on the way out of the parking lot. After a short chase, the driver of the car lost control, and deputies say it crashed into a business near Spruce Street. Both the driver and the passenger of that vehicle, a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old, died at the scene. 2 other passengers are seriously injured and in the hospital right now. The crash is still under investigation. Another delay days ahead of a self-imposed deadline to expand hardware capacity and fix software bugs for the Obamacare website. Jill Dougherty reports.
With just 2 days to go before a self-imposed deadline to get the Obamacare website working right, another delay. The Obama administration now says that healthcare.gov won't be able to enroll small businesses for another year, after promising this too would be ready.
Will the SHOP website for small businesses that was delayed be fully functional during November?
Yes, we will institute the SHOP component at the end of November.
Republicans quick to pounce on the administration for announcing another delay just before the Thanksgiving holiday. House Majority Leader Eric Cantor charging, once again, President Obama has unilaterally delayed another major portion of Obamacare, and once again, he's tried to bury bad news around a holiday, hoping nobody will notice. Small businesses shopping for health care will be able to use direct enrollment with an insurer, agent, or broker. But during a conference call with reporters, the administration was downplaying overall expectations.
To be clear, November 30th does not represent a relaunch of healthcare.gov. It is not a magical date.
The spokeswoman admits there will be times after November 30th when the website does not function properly. Programmers still have a lot of work to do. The goal, make sure it can handle 50,000 users at one time, yet there might be times when demand exceeds that, and consumers will be directed to a virtual waiting line.
Well, a Florida father is in trouble after he joins in a fight involving 2 teens. Plus, one mom has a lot to be thankful for this Thanksgiving as she gives birth to her baby girl in an inconvenient location. Plus, a South Florida woman will get to spend the holidays with her family after she is granted a retrial. We'll be right back. The Florida woman sentenced to 20 years in prison for firing a warning shot into the air will be celebrating the holiday with her family. Marissa Alexander was released from jail on bond last night and is under electronic monitoring and house arrest. She was granted a new trial after an appellate court ruled that the jury in her first trial had incorrect instructions. Her new trial begins in March. Police say a Florida man helped arrange a fight between two 14-year-old boys. When his son was losing the fight, police say he stepped in and attacked the other boy. Dan Billow reports the father is now facing charges.
You got so many silvers. Get him back! Get him! Get him! Get him back! Oh my God.
Spectators had their phones recording when one 14-year-old boy got the best of the other, and while they were on the ground, police say a grown man weighed in.
What's up? What's up? What's up, man? What's up, man? What's up, man? What up?
But he wasn't just any grown man. Police say he's the father of one of the two combatants, Carl Nix of Indian Harbor Beach.
What can you think of that? I mean, that's just not the way to handle a situation. That's not the right thing to teach your kids.
Police say slow motion shows Nix throwing at least 2 punches toward the teen's head. Spectators and the mother throw Nix off the boy. The mother can be heard yelling, "It's not your fight."
It's not your fight, you don't.
And the mother was there, and they were watching the fight, which is obviously against the law.
No one answered the door at Nix's address. He is charged with 1 count of child abuse and 2 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Police say there were no serious injuries in the fight. The mother who was present was not charged.
When we come back, one family is celebrating the unique birth of a baby girl this Thanksgiving. But first, a check of your forecast with Erin Clanahan. Erin.
Well, it was a very chilly day here across the Big Bend in South Georgia, but I have good news. If you're not a fan of the cold weather, we will be slowly warming up throughout the rest of your weekend and be near the 70-degree mark by Sunday. But tonight, another extremely chilly night across the area. We're seeing just a few clouds out there, and that's going to make for the cold weather tonight. We have calm winds, dry air, and clear skies tonight, and we're going to be seeing a freeze warning again. I'll tell you just how cold we're going to get in just a little bit.
A family in Oregon is celebrating the birth of a new baby this Thanksgiving Day. This after the new bundle of joy was born on the side of a highway. Whitney Clark has the story.
Emma was born weighing 5 pounds, 8 ounces, 18 inches long. She's just a few hours old, and while Emma is her legal name, her family already gave her a nickname.
I'd like to call her I-5.
I-5 for Interstate 5 because Emma was born on the freeway. No, really, she was literally born on I-5. It's even written here on her birth certificate. Emma's grandma delivered her on the side of the road.
Didn't care about the traffic going by. I wasn't embarrassed because it happens. I mean, not on the side of the freeway, but it happens.
It all started around midnight Wednesday. Rachel, Emma's mom, was having contractions and in so much pain she knew the baby was coming. But on the drive from Merlin to Providence Medical Center in Medford, Rachel had to ask her mother-in-law to pull over so she could go to the bathroom. After that, Rachel couldn't get back in the car.
I couldn't sit down, and I felt her coming, and I was like, I can't get back in. There's no getting back in. So my mother-in-law hopped out of the car, put a blanket down on the ground, and I just hands in my knees, and I started crying. I was like, no, she's coming. I need my phone. I need to call somebody.
Her mother-in-law had called 911, but the birth only lasted minutes. By the time paramedics showed up, they found Emma crying, everyone safe, beside the busy freeway.
I don't think they could have predicted that she would have given birth right then and there. They did everything right.
One day, Rachel says she'll tell Emma about everything that happened on the day she was born. For now, just resting at the hospital, thankful to say the least.
It's awesome. It's the greatest thing.
This Thanksgiving, Emma's family counting their blessings on 10 tiny toes and fingers.
Well, the holidays can be a heartwarming time for friends and families to get together and express their gratitude, but you may want to make sure that you don't overdo it. Experts say excessive celebrating can lead to heart attacks and other medical emergencies. Doctors say there is an increase in emergency room traffic on Thanksgiving Day. The reason? Alcohol and salty, fatty foods. They say people with existing heart problems are more at risk for congestive heart failure due to high intakes of salt. And speaking of food, a stranger's act of kindness stunned 10 lucky shoppers at a Houston area grocery store. Amanda Perez has the story.
It happened on Saturday, a busy time at grocery stores everywhere. A man simply walked up to a cashier at this H-E-B on Highway 59 and told her he wanted to pay for the next 10 customers' groceries.
She put my basket up next to the register and she said, "This man is paying for it." And I was like, "Why is he doing it?" She said, "I don't know. He's just paying for it."
He just said that he wanted to. It was an act of kindness, and that's what he wanted to do.
The gesture caught customers and employees by surprise. Destiny Rogers was bagging groceries that day and said she'd never seen anything like it.
When one of the ladies started crying, I was like, I got a little tear. I was like, oh my gosh, this is real. Like, he really doing it. I was like, oh my.
We don't know why the man chose this H-E-B in an area that's not exactly filled with need. In fact, Lauren Tucker said she initially found it hard to accept the gift because she has so much.
So it did make me realize that probably the message that he is trying to give is that, you know, it doesn't need to be somebody that has a financial need. We just all need to stop and take a breath and be kind to everybody. Not just Thanksgiving, but every day.
A nice meaning there.
I know, I love the meaning of Thanksgiving.
That had to be expensive.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure.
With the turkeys, I mean, think about
right.
how much the grocery bill is for
I'm sure it was outrageous. Kind of like the weather today, a little bit cold.
It is cold. You want to open the windows to kind of let some of the heat out from the stove, but it's a little too cold.
It cools off really quickly. I know the thermostat at my apartment was below 65 at one point. Then I cranked the heat up because it was chilly, and tonight is going to be another very cold night across the region. We are under a freeze warning for most of the area except along the immediate coastline. We stayed dry for today. Only saw a few of those high cirrus clouds streaming by, but high pressure is really dominating the southeast. And with that, we're seeing calm winds, clear skies, and a whole lot of sunshine. But despite the fact that it was a very sunny day, we really didn't warm up at all today. 51 degrees currently in Tallahassee, 48 in Bainbridge, 46 there in Moultrie. But tonight, once the sun sets, these temperatures are going to fall very fast. With high pressure in control, we have clockwise rotation around that. So to the north of us, it's very, very cold. We have an air mass straight out of Canada, and we have those winds out of the northeast pulling in that colder air into our region for tonight, which is why some areas in South Georgia could potentially fall down to the upper 20s. For tomorrow, high pressure does move towards the north, and our winds become a little bit more easterly, but they're still going to have that northerly component. So another very chilly day with temperatures only a few degrees warmer than today, but throughout the rest of your weekend, we will see a gradual warm up. Tonight, along the coastline, expect to see those temperatures in the mid-30s, a little bit warmer there. That's why we're not under the freeze warning for them. But as we head north into South Georgia, especially Albany, Blakely, Colquitt, upper 20s is what we're expecting for tonight. And right along the border, temperatures will probably be right near that freezing mark, around 32 or 33 degrees. Areas outlined in purple, this is where we are expecting the freeze warning. So notice counties like Franklin and Wakulla not under the freeze warning because they are closer to the coastline. But Friday morning, we're expecting temperatures between 27 and 32 degrees for up to 8 hours. So we do have some freeze tips here for you. Remember to bring in those tender plants, cover the plants that have to stay outside, check on the young and elderly, and especially check on your pets. And trust me on this one, because I had a hamster back in the day that did die because it was too cold. So I certainly learned my lesson with that one. But here's your 7-day forecast, certainly warming up. We're at 63 degrees for your high tomorrow, 66 on Saturday, and then right near the 70-degree mark on Sunday. And that rain chance comes back on Monday, but still very slight chance for rain at 30%. And then after that, looks like we're going to be seeing very seasonable temperatures for the beginning of December.
So those Black Friday shoppers need to bundle up.
Yes, they do.
Early in the morning.
Bundle up and dress in layers, because with the sunshine tomorrow, we'll be feeling a little bit warmer, and you're not going to need the winter coat for the afternoon.
Okay, thanks, Erin.
You're welcome.
We've all heard the many myths about Thanksgiving, but is it really true? Does eating turkey actually make you sleepy? Well, next we'll decipher between what is fact and what is fiction. We'll be right back with more of the news at 5 here on WTXL ABC 27. Tonight in your health, it's Thanksgiving and many are gathering to eat their meal. Holly Furfer checks in with a registered dietitian to discuss some holiday food myths.
Turkey makes you sleepy. Desserts can lead to acne. We hear these ideas tossed around during the holidays, but they're actually myths. Turkey does contain a chemical called tryptophan, which can act like a natural sedative, but it doesn't have any more than many other foods.
Or even if we overdo the turkey, we're not eating that much tryptophan to really cause us to be sleepy.
Consuming way too many calories is what puts us in our post-meal slumber, not the tryptophan. Another myth is that drinking additional alcohol will cure a hangover. Actually, dehydration after a heavy night of drinking is what usually causes a hangover.
If you can eat something and drink a lot of water, that would be the ideal way to cure a hangover.
It's also a myth that ingredients in desserts can cause acne. Rather, it's touching a greasy holiday treat and then touching your face that may lead to a flare-up. Is it a myth or truth that eating stuffing can give us salmonella and make us sick? Well, that depends on how you cook it.
When we stuff our turkey and we don't get the temperature up to at least 165 to make sure that we've really killed off all that bacteria, then we can get salmonella.
Cook all stuffing, whether inside or outside of the bird, to 165 degrees. For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Furfer.
More than 160 gingerbread homes with sugar trees and gumdrop roofs made up the largest gingerbread village in the world. Chef John Lovich has spent almost the entire year creating the village. He made it piece by piece in his apartment in the Bronx in an oven that can only hold one baking pan at a time. Then he assembled it all in the New York Hall of Science, where it's now on display. According to the Guinness Book of World Records website, Lovich has set the record for the largest gingerbread village. A sweet treat there. Stick around. The news at 5:30 starts in just a few minutes.